This is another update on the building. Now you notice I've kind of got the back wall in. I've still got two walls to go in the ceiling, and I got to move stuff. So I had my collet rack over here. So what this right here is, this little shelf is my RA collet rack. See here. And I went ahead and put the shelving back up. I'm still working on what I'm going to do for a camera mount. I'm going to figure that one out here in a little, later. I'll kind of like hanging the camera. I may end up eventually, and I just now understand how did my level get bent. My level has been bent. Oh, well, shit. Don't know where I stepped on it somewhere along the way and bent it somehow. Well, anyway, that's where we at on that. In case you're wondering, I just now noticed that I've been working, behind the lathe a lot, and probably, some of my tools just fell off. And there, still got some straightening up to do and stuff to put back. And I worked on some other things this morning. I'll show you that in here in the toolbox here. When you buy these adapters, I needed them, you have to cut them off to work in the grizzly. So I cut them off this morning, so that's the other thing. Most of you know my mill's I'm not working in the shop today, but I had an idea that kind of come to me. And the reason, like everything else, to get these bright ideas, well, a lot of it's just like to do with finances. When I bought my lagoon, this side here, somebody had a servo feed on it. I never seen it on the machine, but it had it on it. And so the guy I bought it from, he bought it on a deal from American Airlines, local airport, had it in their machine shop. And the story he told me was that the mill was to be sold because they had purchased a CNC mill for their machine work in that shop. So what he done, and he was doing other work for him, and purchased the mill, more or less took it on trade because they was going to sell it for scrap. Then he put it on Craigslist to be sold. Well, you already know I put a DRO on it because the DRO was off. Also, one of the machinists there was going to try to buy the mill from the employer. So he somehow takes the DRO off and the servo feed, takes it home, sneaks it out, I guess. So, make long story short, when I bought the mill, it had neither. When I put the DRO on, and I've been looking at putting feed package on it. The thing about a lagoon, you just can't buy the cheap or inexpensive Chinese feed packages. It takes a different. And from my investigation on this, what I'm finding out is that I'm kind of stuck with about one choice. And that's the Servo brand, and there's another one that is sold by one of the distributors, but yeah, I'm looking at close to $400 to put it on, the best price I can find on the internet. But you can't buy these off eBay or Shars. Shars had one, and I emailed Shars, and Shars said it wouldn't work. So several years ago, James Kilroy run into something similar with his mill. So I'm trying to come up with an idea, and I've done some experimentation. This is a 3/4 nut, and this is just a hand drill. And what I'm going to do, so you can control this by engaged. Or you can do this, but you need to wrap it. So what I'm going to try to start with is to use this, and I'm using a corded D-roll because it's handy. I got it, and I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to use this drill by able to vary the speed like this and use it for a feed. Mainly when I'm going to use a feed, be fly cutting or something like that, so that's not going to be that big a deal. If I'm going to fly cut it or face mills, probably when I'm going to use most of the feed rates I'm going to use. And I can judge it, hold it. I'm going to try that because, quite frankly, being retired, $300-something is a lot of money. Now, anybody that's got any other suggestions, chime in. But this is what I'm going to try out, see what you think of the idea. This is just a cheap D-walt, and I want to use a corded drill. And I'm going to work on making me a knee lift. I'm not thinking about buying one. I'm going to try to make one. I've got an idea. I've seen Dale Derry's idea for a knee lift, and I'm going to make one similar. The only thing I didn't like about the way he done it, he soldered the pipe, or the brass pieces in. And I'm going to lay mine, I try to lay mine out and drill them and tap them and cut. I already got the screws, 1/4-inch brass screws, and I'm going to machine them down to 3/16 where they fit in. And I may end up trying to use my bolt circle pattern and figure it out with the DRO and drill it. So we're going to work on that. It's another project. But this is the poor man's servo feed that I'm going to experiment with here. And see, it's fairly simple. So let's just see how this works for us. Well, I got some more odds and ends I keep throwing in these videos. Till I get the shop finished, I'm not going to be doing any machining because I got to get the shop finished and back in order. So this has been an ongoing this month project. But yesterday we went to the flea market. It was cold. Chris wanted to run by there, so we did. And I went by, this guy had some nuts and bolts on the table, but you never have enough extra stuff. I always tend to look for them. So I said, well, for a buck, I get a few 5/16 and some 3/8. And I got some 3/8 connector nuts. So sometimes if I'm lazy and don't feel like putting a collet on, I like to have these right here especially. So if I need to cut a bolt off or something, piece threaded rod, bolt, or whatnot, I can screw it in this connector, one of these connectors, a jam nut, chuck them up in the lathe and trim them off. So it's always a handy little something to have. So this is something else with the item that picked up at the flea market. Okay. Well, I went by Horrible Freight today. I went to see my mother. So I need to get it's a little cool this morning. While I was, we have a Harbor Freight in Gastonia. It's over at the side of town that I just we go to around everything. It's really hard to deal with, so I try to avoid it. And I picked up a few items that I'm needing. Cutoff wheels. That's for my little electric cutoff. And I think I've got some extra ones, but I can't remember where they're at. So I went and got some of them. This is sort of one of these impulse buys, but I've got some screws, the square-headed screws that I need to remove. And so this was in that cheap pack. This is a Chinese-made Jacobs drill chuck conversion kit. It's really made for a cordless or corded drill to switch your chuck out on it. I've got another plan. You probably haven't. I've got a hand tapper that I made several years ago before I got into making videos, and I'm going to upgrade it and kind of rework it because I'm got a plan for how I need to use it. So what my plan is to use this chuck for a tap holder, my tap holder. So that's one of the plans I've got. And a cheap set of Allen wrenches. And I really want to put this in my machinist side box just for Allen wrenches and whatnot, because it's a full set. I've got Sanang mini Allen wrenches, but I don't really have them in sets. And it's 1x30 sanding belts. There's a couple of them in here. I have a 1x30 sander that I actually got given to me in my deal with my mill. It's a Delta, and I'm thinking about using it some. So I need some belts for it, and I thought, well, I'll try these. And I picked up a 1/4 over rounding cutter. It's a router cutter. And I'm going to use this sometimes to do round over work on the mill, on aluminum. I've seen other people do this, Dale Deary and a few others, and I'm going to see how it works. I mean, you know, this is like $3-4 bucks, and if it don't work, so I should be happy. We'll just experiment with it and see how this works for us and gives us what we, you know, see if it'll work for us and give us a round over. If it don't, I'll order some round over meals, but I just happen to be in Shelby, and Harbor Freight's is so much easier to get to in Shelby than it is in Gastonia. And so I was there today. Another thing, while I'm looking at this, I don't know if I'll include the clip or not, but I was doing some experimentation with my mill while I was out in the shop working. And I'll just turn the camera around here right quick. Face it up towards me here. Got a couple old uniform shirts. I'm fixing to go out and do some insulation work today. I showed a video on, I have made a clip, and I don't know exactly if I'm going to put it on the video, where I've done some experimentation with using a drill as a table feed. I just looked at some different options, and I actually shot a little video of it when I was experimenting with. And while the excuse me, the idea sounds really good, I really wanted to power feed on my x-axis, and I looked and looked and looked, and the options for power feed are slim. That's a direct fit kit to Lagoon. And basically, in my research on the internet and trying to ask around, the better grade import units, people like Precision Matthews Sales and Shaw's. I think several years ago, Jay Kilroy put one on his Herco, and he had to do a lot of work because the kit didn't cover the bearing mount, and he like has a 4-part series on that. And I actually emailed James and haven't heard back yet, no, because I was thinking about seeing if he actually had where he made his 3D printing and make printer and go that route. But after I done my research, the better import servos, I mean, you can get them on eBay, but my understanding you need a 150 inch-pound servo drive for a Lagoon. I got a 50-inch table, so it's got to be moved. It's got to take a good bit of power. And all the factors and considerations, I looked and found on the internet from H&W Machinery Builders, they had a servo, has a value brand. It's a Dynamo. And they had them on sale for $380 something, I think. It's about a little over $400 with shipping, and I don't know exactly how they're shipping it right yet. If they put it in a flat rate box, they may refund some of it to my bank. But with the units for that I looked at, the quality units is $330 anyway, and then having the more than likely have to machine and make a bunch of pieces. I'm thinking that it's just a no-brainer. And so I ordered the kit, so that's another video. When I get the kit in, you'll see it in the things that come in. So that's just another project to be added to the multitude of projects I've got. So today I just got this all together today, and I'm gonna probably put this stuff together sometime this week for a video. So again, you know, I'm being really busy in retirement, and you notice I've been working in the shop doing carpentry, and that's where I'm going back to today. It's a little warmer today, so I'm gonna go out and work. So y'all have a great one, and we'll catch you on the next video. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this as it's handheld. This is my little Delta 1x30 belt sander that I was talking about that I had and that I've gotten. I just haven't never used. Right beside of it's my Craftsman chop saw. But this is a gift actually from, well, I don't know if it's a gift, thrown into the deal from Larry Guy. And it's in my other building that we use for storage. And today I'm gonna go work in the shop. And one thing, I don't know if you probably haven't seen, it's probably kind of stupid. I had my other mill down here, the little PM MV25 mill that you've seen in so many videos, and I had it stored right here where the empty spot. The reason why it's an empty spot, I sold it over the weekend. A local hobbyist, I put it on Craigslist, and local hobbyist picked it up and purchased it. So we're also kind of thin on the mills. We're down to the big mill. And if you'll notice, I've got my insulation stored in here, my hardboard for my walls, my acetylene torches in this building. This is kind of the building we're going to use for a lot of storage. Here it was my shop. You can see in my earlier videos. This is the building used for my shop. So when I moved here to Dallas, we moved into it more or less. I brought it down here and had it set, and it actually doesn't have power to it at the minute. So I opened it up to get some insulation out so I could work today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment. That comments are really important to me. You know, it gives me more ideas what to do and how to do it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.